नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे
राम
राम राम राम हरे हरे.
Yes, anyone remembers what we discussed in our last session? Someone like to summarize or share? Yes. Anyone? Okay, so in our last session, we started third chapter of Bhagavad Gita known as Karma Yoga. In that, we covered two verses in which Arjuna was expressing his confusion. What confusion he was expressing? Which is better? First, you were asking to act in Buddhi Yoga, and then you are telling to renounce the work. So, which one is better? He is asking. And he is telling it's your the way you are saying to me, it's very equivocal. You are saying this is also good, that is also good. But what is the ultimate good? Shreyas, what is the ultimate good for me? Please tell me. Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna and asking in that mood. Right? So today we'll start with the third verse. I'll share the screen. So yes, one important thing Arjuna was thinking is those who are acting on the platform of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, they have nothing to work. Just like ordinary people think, one who is practicing Bhakti Yoga, he has nothing to do. He simply sits. Whereas a devotee, he is 24/7, he is completely engaged in Krishna's service for the pleasure of the Lord, to spread the message of the Lord, to spread his holy name. He is completely engaged. Right? So we'll start with the next verse, that is verse number 3rd of chapter 3rd. So here Krishna is going to answer Arjuna's question or confusion he is going to clarify. So please follow in chanting this shloka. Shri Bhagwan Vacha
श्री भगवान वाचा
Lokasmitha
लोक
कस्मिन् द्विविधा
द्विविधा निष्ठा
Pura Prokta Maya Nagha
पुरप्रोक्ता मया नघ
Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam
ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां
सांख्यानां
Karma Yogena Yoginam.
कर्मयोगेन
योगेन
योगेन
योगिना
योगिना.
Yes. Anyone would like to chant this shloka?
श्री भगवानुवाच लोकहिस्मिना द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्तो मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्.
Is someone else?
श्री भगवान् उवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरप्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिना.
Yes. Someone else would like to try?
श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्.
Yes. Someone else would like to try?
श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरप्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्.
Wonderful. Yes, someone else would like to try? Okay, so we'll start with the translation. The Blessed Lord said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who realizes the self. Some are inclined to understand him by empirical philosophical speculation, and others are inclined to know him by devotional work. So here Krishna is explaining there are two ways people can realize the absolute truth or the self. Or in simple words, there are two ways to reach to Krishna or to understand about Krishna. Which way is better? Further Krishna is going to explain. So we'll read the purport. In the second chapter, verse 39, the Lord explained two kinds of procedures, namely Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the Lord explains the same more clearly. Sankhya Yoga or the analytical study of nature of spirit and matter is the subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. The other class of men work in Krishna consciousness. As it is explained in the 61st verse of second chapter, the Lord has explained also in the 39th verse that by working by the principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of actions, and furthermore, there is a no flow in the process. The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse, that is, Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically on Krishna. In this way, all the senses can be brought under the control very easily. Therefore, both the yogas are independent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers who are also sincerely searching after the absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The indirect process is philosophical speculation by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness. And the other process is directly connecting with everything in Krishna consciousness. Of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. So very interesting purport Prabhupada has wrought, and lot of points and lot of things one can make out and understand from this purport. So first, Prabhupada has mentioned here verse number 61, which clearly explains. So let us move to verse number 61 of second chapter and see what Krishna is saying there. So here Krishna is mentioning Tani sarvani samyamya yuktadasita matparaha vasehi yashendriyani tasya pragna pratishtita. One who restrains his senses and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So what Krishna is saying here, one who restrains his senses are under his control, means these senses are no more hankering after sense objects. Just like tongue want to eat something good, I want to taste something good, right? That is the nature of the tongue. So tongue doesn't desire that. Tongue is not hankering after eating something good. Or tongue has another thing. What is that? To eat and to speak. This mouth and this tongue wants to speak. So we waste our lot of time in speaking nonsense things. So that is one of the, work of this sense tongue. To restrain his senses, and what terms he restrains his senses now? One who restrains his senses means one who engages his senses in Krishna's service. And when one engages his senses in Krishna's service, so what happens? He is fixing his consciousness upon Krishna. How? Suppose tongue want to eat something. That is natural. That is the need of the tongue. That is the need of the senses. That to maintain this body, we have to eat something. To survive ourselves, we have to eat something. Now tongue is demanding. So how we can fix our consciousness upon Krishna? By thinking that let me cook or let me prepare some palatable item, some palatable dish, nice dish for Krishna. Let me offer something nice dish to Krishna. So what is happening? Our consciousness is shifting to I have to serve to Krishna some nice dish rather than I want to eat something nice. I want to enjoy my tongue. Rather than that, what we are thinking, let me prepare something nice dish for Krishna, let me offer to him. So our consciousness is getting fixed on Krishna. I want to speak. So let me speak to the people around me about Krishna. Let me chant his holy name. So what is happening? Our consciousness is getting fixed on Krishna. And that person is known as Prajna Pratishtha. Means he is a person of steady intelligence. So here, coming back to this purport, there are two ways one can approach the Supreme Lord. Primarily, in Sanskrit, how we can understand, there is a Pravritti Marga and there is a Nivritti Marga. There is a Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. Pravritti Marga is the way to approach Krishna through gradual or very slow process. Means I will follow all the shastras, rituals, regulations, principles, whatever is mentioned in the shastras, but I will gratify my senses, satisfy my senses. I will follow all these things and make gradual process, a slow, steady process, progress. Like that, I'll reach to Krishna. And there is a Nivritti Marga. Nivritti Marga is a very fast process. Very quickly, one can approach Krishna. How? Through bhakti. Through bhakti yoga. Just like there is a building is there and that building has 100 floors. That building has 100 floors. So to reach on the top of the building, there are two ways to go. One is you go by the elevator and another is you go by the staircase. You go by the steps. So by going by the step, what will happen? To reach to 100 floors, you may need 1 day. At least you may need 1 day. You will go take rest. Oh, after 5-6 floors, let me wait for 1 minute. Another 5-6 floors, let me wait for some more time. Right? Just like we went for some yatras and you have to go 4-5 kilometers, you have to climb the mountain. So every 1 kilometer or so, we take a small gap or halt so that we can again regain our strength. Right? So like that, it takes time, but we reaches that destination. But there was another way also. What was that way? You simply take a chopper, helicopter, you sit there, and within 10 minutes, you reach on the top of the hill. Right? So same way, this Bhakti Yoga is that method where one can realize the self. One can realize the self. Now, what do we mean by realizing the self? This we should understand, which is also very important thing. What is the meaning of realizing self or self-realization? We should understand. So, realizing the self is, who am I? Who am I? I'm seeing that from my childhood, I'm growing, body is changing. Earlier, 20 years back or some 25 years back, I was very small. Now, I have grown up. That time my height was 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Now it's 5 feet, 6 feet. So I have grown up. Body is changing. So I am not this body. I am something else. Then who am I? I am touching or doing some pinch. I am saying I am this body, or I am not saying I am this hand. Right? So who really I am? So I understand through Shastras, through scriptures, that I am something different from the body. I am not this body. Then who am I? I am a spirit soul. I am a spirit soul. I am a soul. Then when I understand that, okay, I am a soul. Now, what is the nature of this soul? That is what Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. He starts Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter with this. First he tells is, you are a spirit soul. Second he tells is, what is the nature of a spirit soul? Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be killed, it cannot be moistened, it cannot be dried, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be divided into pieces. It is eternal. It is eternal in nature. It is permanent, full of bliss, knowledge. That is the nature of the soul. Now, this soul has such nature. I am eternal, permanent. Second thing, third thing comes is, to whom I belong, from where I have come, what is my origin.
बहुत
That
सामान
is-
प्रोजेक्ट खाने पीने का आप लोग का नहीं
That is the question, next question.
कुछ देख
So we understand that
बस
लड्डू भी आइएगा
हाँ?
लड्डू भी आएगा
लड्डू तो उसकी मम्मी
So we understand that we belongs to Krishna, as Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. Mameyo amsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashtani indriyani. So we belongs to that Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So understanding self includes everything. Understanding self includes about ourselves, about this creation, and about Supreme Lord. Knowledge about all is self-realization. Right? So, there are two processes, Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. So, this Nivritti Marga, through Bhakti Yoga, one very quickly can realize that I am not this body. Who am I? I am a spirit soul, and I belongs to Krishna. Now, here, very interesting thing Prabhupada has mentioned. What Prabhupada has told? Religion and philosophy. About religion and philosophy, nicely Prabhupada is mentioning. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. So now, what do we understand by religion? First of all, we should try to understand religion. If you search over internet, Google, dictionary, you will find religion as a certain belief or faith, right? It is a certain belief or faith. Whereas in Sanskrit, it is known as dharma. It is known as dharma. So dharma, the meaning, actual meaning of dharma is what? Is the constitutional position of oneself. Is dharma. Acting on that constitutional position of oneself is dharma. Just like for an example, sugar is there. Sugar's dharma is what? To give sweetness. Suppose you are preparing some sweet dish for the Lord and you put sugar, but it was not sugar, it was salty in nature. So you will be surprised. Oh, what happened? I put a sugar, but how it became salty, right? So you'll say, oh, this sugar is some gone case, right? So similarly, sugar, just like sugar has its nature. What is that? His nature is to give sweetness. That is the dharma of sugar. Dharma of salt is what? To give salty nature. It's salt in nature. Dharma of fire is what? To give heat and light. Same way, dharma of the living entity is what? Dharma of spirit soul is what? Being a part and parcel to serve Krishna. To serve Krishna is the dharma of the living entity known as religion. And what ways we serve are the practices. Suppose somebody serves in this way, that way. These are practices. And those practices are serving the Lord. Performing one's own dharma is known as religion. Now, philosophy is what? Philosophy is basically, if we try to understand, is to deepen the understanding about certain things. We can say is philosophy. Suppose there is a creation is there, stars are there. So you philosophize by, giving your own understanding and your own imagination and creativity. With that, you philosophize and give certain understanding to the world. That is philosophy. So, religion without philosophy is sentiment, Prabhupada is saying, or sometimes fanaticism. Just like, for an example, how we can understand this thing. Like religion means certain practices are to fulfill our dharma or to serve Krishna. That is known as religion, right? So how it becomes fanaticism? When one don't have a proper understanding philosophy, how does it become fanaticism? Just like Prabhupada. Recently I read one quote, one interview of Prabhupada. One reporter asked Prabhupada that Swamiji, you are traveling by airplanes. You are traveling by airplanes. Generally, a sannyasi should not travel by airplane. He should travel on the ground itself. He should not even cross the ocean. He should simply walk on the ground. He should be connected with the ground. He should not leave ground. That is the concept, right? So that's why a reporter asked, Swamiji, you are traveling by airplanes. So in reply, Prabhupada tells that you are also traveling with the speed of airplane to the hellish planet. And suppose if I use bullock cart, how I can save you? I cannot save you. To save you, I also have to travel with airplanes. Like Prabhupada is traveling across the world. He has traveled to give the message of Bhagavad Gita. Within 10 years, he traveled across the world 14 times, established 108 temples, and spread the message of Bhagavad Gita. Suppose if he doesn't use aircraft, airplane, within 10 years, he cannot do. He cannot do because a lot of his time will go in traveling. That's why to spread the message of the Lord, the essence, what is the most important thing is to spread the message of the Lord, to serve the Lord. One has to utilize all the things in Krishna's service. One should not be fanatic. Oh, how can you travel in the aircraft? That is known as fanaticism. Whereas philosophy is what? Everything should be utilized in Krishna's service. Everything can be utilized in Krishna's service. So when this philosophy is there, what is more important thing is to spread the message of the Lord, and everything can be utilized in Krishna's service. When you philosophize, when you give that philosophy, you have proper understanding. And when you follow religion, your dharma is to serve Krishna. You can serve Krishna more effectively. You can serve Krishna more effectively. Further, Prabhupada says, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation, it's simply mental speculation. So, somebody is giving philosophy. There are a lot of philosophers across the world. They just keep giving philosophy. But when it comes to practical application, it is not at all helping. It is not at all helping him. It is just like cheating is happening. Prabhupada says that there are various philosophers. What they do, they give philosophy, but they themselves don't follow. And such philosophers, they simply speak, and their character, if we examine, it is even lower than an ordinary person. So how that person can help somebody to make spiritual advancement? He cannot help. A person who is just simply giving philosophy, but he is not following or practicing, it will not make any difference. His character is even lower than an ordinary person. So it will not help people to make spiritual advancement. There was one incident during Mahatma Gandhi time. One lady, she came along with her son, and she asked Mahatma Gandhi ji that you are so famous, you are a respected person, and my child, he has a habit of, I think, taking coffee or some chocolates. He is so much fond of this sugar or chocolate or coffee. Can you please ask him to stop this thing, as if these things are not at all good for him? So Mahatma Gandhi, he told, okay, you come after a week. After a week, you come visit again. So that lady, again, she visits Mahatma Gandhi. And this time, Mahatma Gandhi asked child, do not take sugar. Do not take so many sugar candies or toffee or chocolate, whatever it was. Don't take many. So that lady, she told, you could have told the same thing last week also. So Mahatma Gandhi replied, I myself was not following. So how I can say to others? That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, one should approach a person Bhagavata. To understand the real message of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the difference between a person Bhagavata or a Bhagavata Pravakta, or sorry, Bhagavata book? Is person Bhagavata, he lives with the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And when somebody approaches such person and understands the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, his life becomes sublime. His life becomes sublime. Whereas a person who is a professional reciter of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, if he, just like there are many professional reciters of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam having lot of degrees, IIT degree, this degree, that degree, and when they recite Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, what happens? It does not make any difference. People like to hear, oh, he is such a good orator, giving such a nice speech. They get carried away, but they don't make any spiritual advancement. Why? Because this person who is a professional reciter of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, he himself is not implementing even one rule or one principle of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. So how he can help others to make spiritual advancement? He cannot help. Alright. So Prabhupada says this Bhagavad Gita is the combination of both. It's a scientific combination of both religious as well as philosophy. And when somebody understands Bhagavad Gita, he understands his own dharma also. As a living entity, as a spirit soul, what is his dharma? It is not at all talking about some Islam, Hindu, Christianity, all such dharma. It is not at all talking about. What exactly Bhagavad Gita is talking about, which dharma it is talking about is, as a spirit soul, as a living entity, what is your duty, what is your dharma, what is your constitutional position? That is what Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Providing it's a combination of both philosophy and religion. When somebody reads this Bhagavad Gita, especially the Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada has written, which is carrying Krishna's intention, what happens? One makes spiritual advancement very fast. One can make spiritual advancement very fast. Right? On immediate basis, he can understand, he can realize, he can feel the difference. He can feel the difference. So we'll move further. Yes, so here very nicely Prabhupada is concluding, of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on the purifying the senses by philosophical process. What does that mean? By following the philosophical process, controlling senses is very tough. Means you philosophize that I want to control my senses. But when sense object comes in front of you, that impulse, by that impulse, one can get easily carried away. Suppose a person has decided, okay, I will not eat something palatable dishes. But when some palatable dishes, some sweet dishes or some nice dishes comes in front of him, he is not at all able to control himself. Whereas a devotee has understanding. What understanding he has, how he can easily control his senses is, even though this dish is very palatable, might be very good, but what is the use of this dish? What is the use of such dish when it is not offered to Krishna? and it is not offered to Krishna. I don't want to take such dish. He simply rejects, no, I don't want to eat, because it is not offered to Krishna. How much ever tasty, palatable dish it may be, a devotee simply rejects, because he knows that real pleasure is first to offer Krishna and then to take as a prasadam. And when he takes as a prasadam, what happens? He get purified. That's why Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process by the direct method of devotional service. It is very easy also, and it is very sublime also. Like you are eating palatable dish also, but if you are offering to Krishna, then you are taking as a prasadam. So it's so easy. But if it is not offered to Krishna, you will not even feel interested. You will not even feel interested to eat that. Many times when we travel or we meet people, they ask us, please probably take something. But we don't feel to take. Why? Because it is not at all offered to Krishna. It is not offered to Krishna. So for us, it is very easy to control the senses for the one who is practicing Bhakti Yoga. Because Bhakti Yoga means he is chanting Krishna's holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by doing all these activities, by engaging himself in Krishna service, his existence is getting purified very fast. Like a forest fire spreads. Forest fire just with a spark, within a few seconds or minutes, it spreads like anything. Same way, this process, Eka Harinam Kori Sarva Papanash. Just by chanting once Krishna's name, our lot of papa, lot of sinful reactions can be destroyed just by chanting once Krishna's holy name. So it is most purifying process. We'll chant the next shloka. Karmanam anarambhan nishkarmanyam purushosnate nacha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhiya abhigacchati madhi gacchati. Not by merely abstaining from work one can achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So here Krishna is telling, abstaining from work, one cannot be free from reaction. Suppose somebody simply sits or perform no duty. He is inactive. Inactive means I will do nothing. I will just simply sit. So he cannot be free from reaction. It is not at all possible. Further, if somebody renounces, with that also he cannot attain perfection. We'll read the purport. The renounced order of life can be accepted upon being purified by the discharge of prescribed form of duties, which are laid down just to purify the heart of a materialistic man. Without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, sannyasa. According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyasa or retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayana. But Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord. Yoga Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayato mahato bhyat. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. Wonderful purport Prabhupada has mentioned to clarify. Just like a person, sometime out of frustration, he thinks, let me leave everything. let me leave everything and take sannyas, take a life of renunciant. But what happens? He has accepted that sannyas out of frustration. So far, he has not got purified. Purified means still same mindset is there. Same desires are still there in the mind. So what will happen? Suppose he had a very good habit to enjoy his senses, to drink or to smoke or to eat something very nice. But he has accepted sannyasa out of frustration. So what will happen? Or he has accepted sannyasa prematurely, not understanding what is the purpose of sannyasa or how one should live a sannyasi life. He has simply accepted sannyasa out of frustration or prematurely. So what will happen? Those desires will continue. And whenever he will find opportunity to gratify his senses, what will happen? He will indulge in those sense enjoyments. Suppose you might have seen or you might have come across or heard a lot of sadhus in India. They stay and they indulge in all these illicit activities like smoking, eating tobacco, drinking. In private, they do all such activities because they have accepted sannyasa out of some maybe name or fame or adoration, cheap adoration from the public, or premature understanding, or out of frustration. But so far they are not got purified. So when they have not got purified, what will happen? Whenever they will get opportunity to indulge in sense objects, they will not be able to control themselves. That's why Krishna is mentioning here that such renunciation is not going to help. Will not help. And another point that Krishna makes here, inaction, not working, one can get free from reaction. So there are certain organization or spiritual organization which says you simply desire nothing. There should be no desire in your mind. You should not work. You should not do any activity. So by desiring nothing and by doing no activity, what will happen? At once you will become a Narayana, as good as Narayana. You will become as good as God. Whereas, if somebody reads the Shastras, the nature of the soul is to be active. Soul by nature is very active in the nature. It cannot sit. And when that soul comes in contact with this material body, so what happens? Our material activities increases. But still, because as long as this soul is there in the body, this body is active, doing some activities, cannot sit idle. Same way, suppose this soul leaves the body, so then if you try to move the body, it will not move. Why? Because now it is dead. Soul has left from the body. So soul's nature is what? Active. Whatever you may try to the dead body, it cannot be active because soul is not there. And soul, another nature is to desire. As per science, some 60,000 thoughts across the day a normal human mind gets. Out of those 60,000 thoughts. There are a lot of thoughts which we pursue or desire a lot of things for ourselves, maybe related to our sense enjoyment as well. So what is the solution? It is not at all possible to become desireless. Becoming desireless itself is a desire. Becoming desireless itself is a desire. So it is not possible to become desireless. So then what is the solution? Solution is you desire for Krishna. When you dovetail such tendency, because you are spirit soul, you are part and parcel of the Lord, when you dovetail such tendency in Krishna's service, when you desire for Krishna, you get purified, your existence get purified. You desire for Krishna. Suppose I want to eat something, let me cook for Krishna and let me offer to Krishna and eat. I want to construct a nice palatial building, let me construct nice temple for Krishna. I want to feed people, I want to feed poor people, let me give them Krishna Prasadam, let me offer to Krishna and give them Krishna Prasadam. Just like through Akshay Patra, we are serving every day more than 20 lakh students across the India. We are serving Krishna Prasadam. So when we dovetail our desires in Krishna's service, what happens? Our personal relationship with Krishna develop. Our personal relationship develops with Krishna. Suppose somebody, wants to work very hard. Let me work hard for Krishna. Let me work hard day and night for Krishna. Let me spread His holy name. Let me spread His holy message. Let me connect more and more people with Krishna. Or let me work hard outside and whatever I will get as a fruit, let me offer it to Krishna. Out of 24 hours, I will work 10 hours for Krishna. And whatever I will get, I will give it to Krishna. So when somebody acts in that way, so here Krishna is mentioning in second chapter, this is a verse of second chapter, Solpamapi yasya dharmasya trayato mahato vyat. Even slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. One can overcome great difficulties just by serving Krishna. Just by serving Krishna, acting on Buddhi Yoga, principle of Buddhi Yoga. We move to next verse. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate hi avasa karma sarva prakriti jair gunehi. Translation: all men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulse born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Here, Krishna has given even more clarity. What clarity he has given? That you are thinking, Arjuna, that by doing nothing, by not acting, by not performing work, or by refraining from work, you can be happy or you can stay peacefully. That is not possible. Krishna is clarifying here. What he is telling? All men, either a sannyasi or a grasta or a brahmachari, whoever he may be, in whatever social order he may be, whatever ashrama he may be, he acts helplessly. How he acts helplessly? According to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. So, to understand, when this soul comes in contact with matter, when this soul, which is spiritual in nature, comes in contact with matter and takes up this body, so now upon this body, because we are identifying ourselves with this body, what happens? Modes of material nature acts upon us. What kind of modes of material nature acts upon us? Satoguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And based on those modes, we perform our actions. Suppose somebody is in Satoguna, his actions will be moreover like, he will like to do some good work. At least he will act morally, and he will make enquiries about his existence. Who is he? What is his relationship with Krishna? Who is Supreme Lord? All these enquiries, all these things will come in his mind. And he will act for the welfare of the people in general. And he will act for his own welfare also. So that is the result of a person who acts in mode of goodness. Basically, those who are devotees, sannyasis or saintly people, they are mostly in mode of goodness. But always there is a fight among all these three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Mode of passion, one will be very active, working very hard to gratify his senses. Today, I am having suppose 100 crore, how I can double it, how I can triple it. Day and night he is working just to increase more and more money. Or suppose he is a scientist or he is some researcher. Day and night he is working on that, how I can publish more and more research, I can do more and more research into this subject matter. He is not at all worried about his own personal life, family life. He is day and night working in that direction. That is mode of passion. Now, in mode of ignorance, how one's act is, he is not at all bothered about anything. What Shastra says, what is good, what is bad, he is not at all bothered. He does whatever he likes, or he even sometimes just simply remain. Oh, I don't want to work. Let me just sleep. Let me just sleep and pass my time like this. So that is acting in the mode of ignorance. So people, they are forced, all of us are forced to act based on these modes of material nature. We get desire based on these modes of material nature. Just like many of you now attending this Bhagavad Gita session, there are many people, they are not able to attend. So what made you to attend this Bhagavad Gita session? Because you are in mode of goodness. Currently you are in mode of goodness. And no, let me attend Bhagavad Gita session. Let me attend Bhagavad Gita session. So you are in mode of goodness and you take interest in attending Bhagavad Gita session. Whereas some people might be genuinely busy, but some people out of ignorance and passion, they don't feel only to attend Bhagavad Gita session or to inquire about existence. They don't even take interest in knowing Krishna or serving Krishna. That does not strike at all. Sometimes, if suppose mode of passion is acting upon us, we'll also not feel, oh, let me today skip. Let me skip today. Right? So like that, always mode of ignorance, passion and goodness, they are always fighting with each other, like competing with each other. Sometimes mode of ignorance is prominent, sometimes mode of passion is prominent, sometimes mode of goodness is prominent. So what is good for us? Good for us is mode of goodness. When somebody is in mode of goodness, he can take decisions very effectively. He can act in his life very effectively. You will see people who are at big positions across the world. Most of the people are in mode of goodness. Why? Because always they are in Sato Guna, and that helps them to take right decisions. They will be very peaceful, they will be very calm in nature. So how one can attain this mode of goodness? One can attain mode of goodness simply when one acts, do his actions aligned with the Shastras, aligned with the what Krishna is saying. One can easily transcend all the modes, and one can even come to the level of Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha means pure goodness. One can easily come. So we'll come to the purport, we'll read the purport. It is not a question of an embodied soul life, but it is the nature of soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in the occupations dictated by illusory energy. Very interesting point Prabhupada has mentioned here. Prabhupada is saying, spirit soul is by nature active. Spirit soul is by nature is active in nature. Now, we have to make a choice here. Whether to act for Krishna or to work for Krishna, or to work which is dictated by these material modes of nature, which is dictated by Maya, which is based on our material bodily conception of life. So we have to act in these two ways, and we have to make that choice. So one thing, what is the difference between two? When we act in Krishna conscious way, it's liberating. That act or that work is liberating in nature. Or acting under the influence of modes of nature or under the influence of Maya is entangling in nature. It entangles us in this material world, which is full of suffering. What kind of suffering? Birth, death, old age and disease. All these sufferings are always acting. So it is full of suffering. In contact with the material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the Shastras. But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do is good for him. The Srimad Bhagavatam affirms this: Taktva sadharmam charna mujam hare bhajanan avapko tatha pate tato yadi yatra kava vabhadram abudh amushya kim ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha. If someone take to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras, nor execute devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunctions of Shastras for the purification in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So Krishna says very important instruction in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Vedasya sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit evam chaham. From all the Vedas, I am to be known, and I am the creator of the Vedas. So, if a person, he follow all the Shastras, He follow all the rules and regulations of the Shastras. But if he is not able to understand Krishna, or is not able to develop bhakti and love and devotion for Krishna, it is simply waste of time. Whereas a person is acting in Krishna consciousness, he is chanting Krishna's holy name, he is serving Krishna, even though he has not read Shastras, he is situated on the highest platform. So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyasa or any purificatory process is to help reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. So ultimate goal is what? To understand ourselves, who we are. We are part and parcel of Supreme Lord Krishna, and to act on that principle is to serve Krishna. And when one understands this thing and acting in serving Krishna, he has realized the ultimate goal of his life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sthane Sthha, at our own position, whichever position we may be. Suppose somebody is businessman, somebody is doctor, somebody is politician, somebody is a prime minister, president, whichever position he may be, at his own position, one can serve Krishna very easily. Under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. And by serving Krishna, he can get free from the bondage of this material world. And he can easily make progress and come out of this existence. Okay, so anyone has any question or anything to ask or share, please feel free to share or ask. Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes. Is any question?
Prabhuji, in today, I have two questions only.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
one is pertaining to abstinence from action, renounce the work, restrain the senses, desire for no desires. So these are the four things which come up in this today's session. And what we are seeing it that these four things are also not that important. So what is actually important then? If you have no desire, because you are battling in a married life, you are battling in a you are not a sannyasi. So that is one. And the last question, which is my aim actually of asking this question, how to develop calmness under pressure, work pressure, maybe aspiration of family members, how to be calm at all time, because that's actually a practical question which is coming up.
Yes. So to answer this question, we can understand from an example, just like a bank person is there. He is handling every day lakhs and crores rupees of cash. But he is not at all affected by that cash. He is not feeling that fear. Oh, what will happen if I lose this cash? Somebody comes and robs this cash. He is not at all affected by that. But suppose if you keep your own cash, if you take out from Almira or somewhere and you keep, immediately that fear is there. Oh, what will happen? This 10 lakh rupees are there, or I am traveling with 10 lakh rupees or so much money. What will happen? What is the difference is? Difference is attachment. This bank person or cashier, he is thinking, this money belongs to bank. This money belongs to bank. It is not my money. So he is, even though handling very carefully, he is not having that anxiety or worry. Whereas you think it is my money, you are attached to that money, you feel that anxiety and fear. You get worried. Same way, when we relate in connection with Krishna, so what happens? We are free from such anxiety, we are free from such worries, and fear. When we are free from such worries, fear, anxieties, automatically we'll be peaceful. Just like, suppose I am using this device. This device has been facilitated to me by Krishna. I'm using this device in Krishna's service. So I'm keeping it very carefully. I'm using it very diligently. I'm not misutilizing it. I'm doing all this very carefully, but at the same time, suppose something happens to this device, I'll take all necessary precautions or all necessary action to make this device all right, so that again I can resume my services. Again I can resume my services. All as a matter of duty I'll do, but all this will not affect me. Okay, device is there, it's very natural, it will get, it will not work or some problem may happen. It's a device after all, so some problems will be there. Same way, when we are dealing with the people in the office or at our own place with family, we have to understand by nature itself, everyone has some problems, everyone has certain problems. So first thing is, we have to become strong. We have to become strong. And how we can become strong? We can become strong when we serve Krishna, when we chant the holy name of Krishna. When we chant the holy name of Krishna, what happens? We get the tapas shakti. By chanting the holy name of Krishna, we get tapas shakti, by which one can easily become strong. And he can tolerate even worst of the situations very easily. He can tolerate even worst of the situations. He can easily come out of such situations very peacefully. He can easily come out of such situations very peacefully. There are a lot of such examples in the past. There are a lot of such examples. Yes, your hope this answers this question. Your question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So another question was desirelessness and
The question was desirelessness, restraining the senses, renouncing the work, abstain from actions. So automatically, all the four things are actually contributing that you don't want to take any action, you don't have any desire, you don't have anything. So automatically, you are purified. Is that the understanding then?
Yes. So like as you mentioned, in a family life, it's not like you are sannyasi or so. So in a family life, how one can continue these things, right? That is the question, right?
Yes.
So in
Yes.
family life, first thing, how to become desirelessness? How to get desirelessness? Real meaning of desirelessness means we should not desire anything material. We should not desire anything material. What we should desire? We should desire spiritual things in our life. Just like today I want to eat something nice, for an example. Let me prepare something nice for Krishna, offer to him and eat it. Suppose my child is there. Desire for the child is how I can give him Krishna consciousness, how he can become a devotee of Krishna, how he can chant some shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, he can read Bhagavad Gita. Or suppose I want to do something, I want to go for some, I want to travel. So let me go or travel where Krishna's temple is there. Let me go to Yatra or do some pilgrimage. So when we dovetail our desire to Krishna, our desires get purified, and that is the actual meaning of desirelessness. Now, renouncing the work or renunciation for that matter is what? You work very hard for Krishna, but you renounce the fruits of that work and offer it to Krishna. In further few verses, Krishna is going to clarify this thing more in detail. He is going to clarify this point more in detail. So there we can understand. So when we connect Nirbandha sambandha Krishna yukta vairagya uchyate. Vairagya means renunciation. Nirbandha sambandha Krishna. Anything if you connect Nirbandha, which is not Nirbandha means not connected with Krishna. If you connect Sambandha means to develop that relationship or you connect that thing with Krishna. Nirbandha sambandha Krishna yukta vairagya uchyate. Such vairagya, such renunciation is uchyata, is the topmost level of renunciation. Just like Prabhupada was once sharing that there are some spiritual leaders or organization which say no, we don't want money, whereas Prabhupada says entire world money you bring to us, we will use in Krishna conscious way, we will utilize it to serve Krishna, we will provide entire world Krishna prasadam, we will take care of everyone, give them nice Krishna prasadam, you bring entire money, we will give Krishna consciousness to the entire world. So that is the highest level of renunciation, is to connect with Krishna, is to engage everything in the service of Krishna. Suppose there is a mobile device is there. What is the use of a mobile device for me? What is the use? Is to engage in Krishna's service. If I don't use this mobile device, I will not be able to give Krishna conscious message to the people. I will not be able to help the people to make a spiritual advancement, to make advancement in the bhakti. So it has certain utility. What is that utility? To engage in Krishna's service. And when it fulfills that utility, his purpose is achieved. That is the highest level of renunciation. Prabhupada says utility is the principle. So you utilized everything in Krishna's service. That is the highest level of renunciation. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Anashrita karam param karyam karam karotiya ya sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriya. The real sannyasi or yogi is who is doing his activity for Krishna, not the one who is not lighting any fire, not cooking or not doing any activity. That is not real sannyasi or yogi. Real sannyasi is who is acting for Krishna, who is working for Krishna. Even a person who is in Grhastha ashrama also working or doing all his social responsibility, family responsibility, all such responsibility, professional responsibility he is doing. Even though he is doing all these activities, still he can be a sannyasi. Even though he is in Grhastha ashram, he can be a sannyasi. Sannyasi is not somebody by dress. Sannyasi is somebody by his action, by his consciousness, not by the dress. What kind of action he performs and what kind of activities, actions, and what kind of consciousness he is having, that determines whether he is a sannyasi or not. Okay. Hope this helps you.
Prabhuji, this means that one should, with the Krishna consciousness, one can develop tolerance, one can develop santushti, one can develop patience, one can develop stability of mind and thought. And for fifth is one can be dedicated to the cause. Now the cause is to serve Krishna or to understand Krishna. Is this the four, 5 points where you can actually come around with these learning of till now?
Yes. In fact, if you remember in earlier our previous sessions, we discussed in Bhagavatam also it is mentioned, when somebody serves Krishna or when somebody practices Bhakti Yoga, so he even surpasses the demigods. Demigods, they have a lot of good divine qualities. He even surpasses all that, like divine qualities like patience, truthfulness, pridelessness, honesty. All these are divine qualities. So one attains all these divine qualities when somebody serves Krishna. There in 13th chapter it comes, there are 20 divine qualities Krishna mentions. And at the end he says, if somebody becomes a devotee, he automatically get all these divine qualities. People are running behind, oh, how I can be free from anger, this, that, so many such qualities we want to acquire in our life. But if simply somebody takes the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and somebody becomes a devotee, automatically all divine qualities will manifest in that person, automatically, without any effort. Otherwise, you keep trying, getting these qualities, it is not at all possible. Like patience and all these are divine qualities actually. Patience, free from anger, pridelessness, humility, all these are divine qualities Krishna mentions. So one can simply get all these divine qualities simply by serving Krishna. Actually, when we serve Krishna, what happens? Our heart gets purified. Suppose when you are cleaning your room or when you are staying someplace, so what you will do first is you will clean that room. When you want to stay at some place, you want that room should be clean. So same way when we serve Krishna, so what happens? Our hearts get clean. It's get clean day by day. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Our heart is getting purified, it is getting clean, and Krishna, he is entering into our heart. And where Krishna is there cannot be any dirt. Just like where there is a sunlight is there, it cannot be darkness. Same way, wherever Krishna is there cannot be any kind of negativity, there cannot be any kind of negative qualities or whatever you see, negative things cannot remain there. Maya cannot remain there. So that is the simple thing. If somebody develops that devotion for Krishna, automatically these divine qualities will manifest. Yes. Any other questions or anything? Okay. So already it's little late for today. So we'll end here. Chanting probably next time we'll do. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
जय
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
जय
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.